Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
On the national news, first the headlines. President Tinubu directs security agencies to rescue abducted Zamfara students. Chicago academic record U.S. George reviews Tinubu Atiku Lagos role. Clamp down on those hoarding dollars, Ooni tells FG. Pay 2022 withheld salaries, ASU tells FG. And on sports, Red off, Boniface fires double as Leverkusen sink Odenham. I am Morire Rabila Lowell. The news in detail. President Tinubu directs security agencies to rescue abducted Zamfara students. Furthermore, the president pledged that the federal government is determined to ensure that educational institutions remain sanctuaries of knowledge, growth, and opportunity to totally free from the menacing act of terrorists. President Bola Tinubu has directed security agencies to rescue the remaining female students of the Federal University Gusau, Zamfara State, who were recently abducted by terrorists. Condemning the reprehensible act of abduction, the president says there is no more and moral justification for such heinous crime against innocent victims whose only offense was their pursuit of quality education, according to a statement issued by Chief Ajuri Ngelale, special advisor to the president on media and publicity. While the president wholeheartedly commiserates with all families directly impacted by this sad incident, he affirmed that his administration has a solemn duty to protect every Nigerian citizen, and in line with these commitments, assures the families of the abducted students that no effort will be spared in ensuring their safe return. Furthermore, the president pledged that the federal government is determined to ensure that educational institutions remain sanctuaries of knowledge, growth, and opportunity, and totally free from the menacing act of terrorists. A United States District Judge, Nancy McDonald, will on Monday review the controversy surrounding the Chicago State University's academic document of President Bola Tinubu, which was put on hold on Thursday. The People's Democratic Party presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar had earlier secured an order for the CSU to make the president's academic records available to his legal team. A magistrate, Geoffrey Gilbert, had on Tuesday ordered Tinubu's alma mater to provide all relevant and non-privileged documents to the applicant within 2 days. Atiku is currently challenging the victory of the former Lagos State governor at the 2023 presidential poll and his recent affirmation by an election petition court in Nigeria. The document sought by the PDP candidate through his legal counsel Angela Leo include the record of admission and acceptance at the university, date of attendance including degrees, awards, and honors attained by the former governor of Lagos State at the university, among others. But as the deadline given by Gilbert drew nearer on Thursday, Tinubu's lawyers approached McDonald, arguing that the earlier decision by Gilbert needed to be reviewed by a district judge. The request for a review and delay of the order till Monday was eventually granted by the U.S. District Judge. In the emergence hearing, Maldonado disclosed that, mindful of legal deadlines in Nigeria, she would rule on the matter as quickly as possible. Ahead of the resumption of the case on Monday, Atiku's media aid advisor Paul Ibe had taunted the president, saying their legal team would wait for the court process while whatever been hidden will be unfolded. In a related development, the new National Publicity Secretary of New Nigerian People's Party, Yakubu Shetmem, had also called on Tinubu to assent to the release of the academic credentials to douse the growing tension and suspicion of his critics. Shetmem stated that if the situation was allowed to get out of hand, it might retract even the presidents. The Ooni of Ife, Obadeye Ogosi, has advised the federal government to clamp down on citizens who are hoarding dollars amid the fearful or in the naira exchange rate. The monarch also called on Nigerians to patronize locally made fabrics at the rate instead of foreign ones in order to strengthen the naira. Oba Ogosi spoke at his palace on Saturday during the graduation of 150 women tricycle riders trained on the Queen Morimi Ajashuru tricycle riders program held side by side with the attire at the exhibition by Southwest at the Red Markets. The women trained in tricycle riding were drawn from the 4 local government areas in Ife land and underwent 3 weeks of training. The Ooni, who said Nigerians must work on their cravings for imported goods to save the naira, also called on the federal government to go after those hoarding dollars. He said the exhibition of our local fabrics, we are very happy about it. We implore the government to be involved in this kind of initiative from time to time. If we patronize our own products in this country, there won't be pressure on the dollar. Honestly, we are the problem of ourselves in this country. I implore the government to be very strict. They should go after people keeping dollars, even, I beg your pardon, even if they are the ones that determine how the dollars goes on the rate. Speaking on the Queen Riders Initiative, a wife of a monarch queen, Ronke Ogosi, said that the women had completed their training, adding that the participants will be assisted to own a tricycle and pick back in installments. Moving on to educational stories with ASU. The Academic Staff Union of Universities has urged the federal government to release the salaries of lecturers withheld for embarking on strike in 2022. The national president of ASU, Professor Emmanuel Oshodeke, told correspondents that the union expected the government to pay the withheld salaries, but that there was no engagement yet on the issue. His reaction followed news of the approval of a percentage increment in salaries of workers in federal government-owned tertiary institutions. In 2022, former President Muhammadu Buhari led federal government withheld salaries of ASU members following the period the workers embarked on strike. Presently, a splinter faction of ASU, the Congress of University Academics, led by its national president, Niyi Sumonu, visited the Minister of State for Education, Tanko Sununu, over the withheld salaries of lecturers. Though the minister did not make any promise, he noted that the federal government would look into the matter. Speaking with correspondent on Saturday, the ASU president said no engagement between us and the federal government so far on the issue of the withheld salaries. We have not met with them. They have not met with us at all. To the next story. The Nigeria Labour Congress NLC has slammed the organized private sector, OPS, over its opposition to the nationwide strike on the grounds that the economy cannot withstand country-wide industrial action now. It said that the OPS was opposing the strike because it wanted to continue paying slaves' wages to workers. Also, the NLC alleged that some groups suspected to be agents of the government were planning to sabotage the ongoing struggle for palliative to cushion the negative effect of subsidy removal on petrol. An impeccable source said yesterday that the government was working hard to use some members of the union and some associations to discredit the struggle with the argument that any strike embarked upon by labor would worsen the economic situation. The source also said that some of the associations from the organized private sector had resorted to taking laughable positions because they were afraid that they might be bound to implement any position the government would want to take that would favor workers. Asked what could be the possible outcome of the NEC meeting tomorrow, the source said it's difficult to predict what will be the outcome of the NEC because of government is using more time creating division and sabotaging the struggle instead of using the same time and energy to solve the problems at hand. And to the next story. The Benue State government has confirmed the abduction of its Commissioner of Information, Culture and Tourism, Matthew Abo. Abo, who was appointed commissioner in August, was reportedly kidnapped on Sunday night in his residence in his hometown, Zakimbiam community, Okum local government area of the state. Kula Teso, chief press secretary to the state governor, Isent Alia, while confirming the incident, a journalist on Monday morning said that the commissioner was weeks away from his house at about 8 p.m. on Sunday night. He said unfortunately the commissioner was kidnapped in his country home in Okum LGA around 8 p.m. on Sunday, September 24, 2023. He was in his home with his family, children, and his people when the armed men came in and forced him to a bike. We received unfortunate development, and His Excellency Governor Isent Alia has already directed and detailed the security operative to ensure his safe release from the kidnappers' den. Meanwhile, the police have yet to speak on the incident as the command spokesperson, SP Catherine Anene, did not answer a call at the time of filing this report. Finally, on the national news is a sports story. Victor Boniface finds start to live in the Bundesliga continued as Bayern Leverkusen kept the heat on leaders Bayern Munich with a resounding 4-1 win over the EDM on Sunday. Boniface will join Leverkusen from Belgian side Union at St. Gilloise in July as impressed in Germany going into this game with 6 goals in as many outings in all competition. The 22-year-old from Nigeria is proven to be a shrewd acquisition at 20.5 million euros, with his opening goal on Sunday a perfect example of his skill set, collecting a pass from Ezekiel Palacios and using his power and neat control to pivot past other end defender Selsben and drill a crisp low shot beyond Calvin Muller. Newly promoted RDM, who picked up first ever win in the Champion's top flight last weekend against Werder Bremen, started to apply some pressure after the break and were rewarded when Aaron Dickin, the star of that win with 2 goals, collected Jan Nicholas Bestin's pass and found the bottom corner to level. But Bayern Leverkusen were back in front barely 5 minutes later. The influential Palacios was again the architect, splitting the other defense with a sublime pass from his own center cycle, allowing another sub signing Jonas Offham to finish first time for his second league goal of the season. We were satisfied and created chances, but we should have made it 2-0 earlier, Offham told DASN. But we continued to play our game and reached very well to equalizer. When asked about his role in the side under coach Xavi Alonso, Offman spoke of the team's fluidity. We remain flexible, that's the only requirement, not to be too static. We have to resolve problems intuitively and find the space. I think we're doing that very well at the moment. With our sports story, we've come to the end of today's national news from Babagide Imo Television. Before we go, some headlines. President Tinubu directs security agencies to rescue abducted Zamfara students. Chicago academic record, U.S. judges reviews Tinubu's article rules. Clamp down on those holding dollars, Ooni tells FG. Pay 2022 withheld salaries, ASU tells FG. And on sport, Red off Boniface fires double as Leverkusen sink Ordenham. For more updates of our broadcast on YouTube, our handle is Babagide Imo Television. Kindly subscribe and click on the notification bell select option all to access all of our broadcasts. On Facebook, Bagide Imo with Alawiye Adebayo. Please like and follow the page. For other placement of goods and services, coverage of events and functions, please dial the phone number streaming on your screen. Thank you for watching. It's a new week. May the Lord guide and protect us towards achieving our goals and aims. May God bless Nigeria. I am Morire Rabila Lawal. Good afternoon.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.